They emptied my house. Not robbed, not ransacked, gone. I just got back from deployment, duffel bag still reeking of desert wind, and the family ranch that carried 4 generations of blood, sweat, and holiday feuds had been sold right out from under me. Sold. Not a scratch left. Just silence, empty echoes, and a mailbox full of bad news. Some fake HOA I never even heard of, let alone joined. Claimed they had the legal right to do it. Said something about violations and abandonment while I was serving overseas. For generations. Wiped out by criminals who bet I'd be too far away to stop them. They thought targeting military families was an easy score. They figured we couldn't fight back, not from halfway around the world. But the thing about picking a fight with someone trained for conflict, you only get one mistake. I unlocked the door, but the key's useless. They changed the locks, of course. So I circle the house, eyeing every scar they left behind. The purple heart that belonged to my grandfather? Gone. Family photos, wedding pictures, the ones with crooked smiles and bad haircuts, all stripped away. The vegetable garden my mother planted? Gone, replaced by ugly gravel, the kind you see behind strip malls. Even the old mesquite tree, my initials still carved on the backside, had been trimmed into some suburban stick figure. The workshop where my dad taught me. Engines and stubbornness? Painted beige. Storage now, as if legacy can be boxed up and labeled miscellaneous. Inside the mailbox is a stack of glossy letters from something called Sunset Hills Homeowners Association. Fancy seals, legal words dense enough to choke a lawyer, right down to a QR code for their official website. I scanned it, already knowing what I'd find: stock photos, fake names, a phone number registered 3 states away, and a website created 3 days ago. The only name that repeated: Madison Wright, compliance chair. I took screenshots, added them to my own war file. I'm still standing in the driveway when Mrs. Peterson, the neighbor, opens her door, pale as a ghost. Lincoln? Honey, they said you agreed to sell. Sign the papers yourself. Her voice cracked, raw with guilt. Over burnt coffee, she told me everything. How, a few weeks after I deployed, men with clipboards and new badges showed up, snapping photos, talking about new community standards. Grass too high, fence too short, unapproved additions. All violations that never existed until those strangers wrote them down. Mrs. Peterson even caught their vehicles on her phone. Temporary tags, not city plates. When she asked for their charter or proof, they always promised, after we finished the updates. Then, out of nowhere, signs showed up: property abandoned. Emergency sale scheduled. The language sounded just legal enough to scare her into thinking she had no right to interfere. Leaving her house, I spot a white sedan parked at the end of the street. Guy in a ball cap pretending he's not watching me. He keeps glancing at his phone, like he's waiting for instructions. I memorized the plates and kept moving. Next stop, courthouse. Property records, signatures, notary stamps, the whole file. They forged my name, beautifully. Notary stamp looked real, except for one detail. The registration number expired 2 years ago. That's the thing about people playing lawyer. They usually mess up something only a pro would notice. I photocopied every document, started building my own case. Overseas, I learned one thing: document everything. Back in my truck, I called a number I hadn't dialed in months. Didn't have to explain, just said, I need backgrounds on 4 names tonight. No hesitation. This wasn't the first time. I'd called in a favor. The next morning, the results hit my inbox. Torres Smith, private security, fired from every job. Janet Mills, real estate admin with a gambling problem. Rick Davidson, contractor with bankruptcies and a habit of scaring old folks into bogus repairs. Only Judy Clark, a retired teacher, seemed clean. I started with Torres. The address led to a mail forwarding shack. The clerk remembered him for paying in cash, always nervous. I tracked him to a seedy motel, watched him act tough, clipboard in hand, but never even knocking on doors. His whole act was a loop, not a route. Janet worked out of a co-working space, stacks of legal-looking folders, and no tax ID. She'd been mailing out threats, but couldn't show a single legit credential. Rick's construction scam was worse, selling phony repairs to vulnerable homeowners, pushing for fast deals. Judy? She was just collateral, someone who believed she'd been recruited for a real board dutifully taking minutes at meetings that never happened. But the real operator? Madison Wright. When I found her place, it all made sense. Expensive house, luxury SUV, security cameras, someone living way above their means. I watched her for hours, saw the courier drop off manila envelopes, watched her pace her porch, phone glued to her ear. She wasn't just a crook, she was a pro. But she'd gotten too comfortable. Because while she ran her scam, my crew was putting pressure everywhere. County clerks started double-checking filings. Banks flagged escrow accounts. Neighbors began sharing stories. On base, a JAG drafted letters for free. Soon, every victim had paperwork and the right words to fight back. Then came the twist. Madison tried to regain control by calling a public meeting. She figured if she played it big, laminated name tags, binders, the whole let's all get along show, people would buy her story. For the first 15 minutes, it worked. But then the questions turned sharp. EIN? State registration? A bank statement from 3 states away? Madison's hands shook. One by one, the neighbors stood up with real evidence, ordinance numbers that didn't exist, letters from real lawyers, proof their properties predated the HOA. And then I stood up, held up my credentials. I'm liaison to an interagency task force. Madison, we need to talk outside. The room went dead quiet. She followed me out, already paling. You're the veteran, the ranch. I never. She tried to say, but couldn't finish. I let her sweat. I'm not just a veteran, I said. I'm General Marcus Lincoln, commander at Fort Carson. You could see the realization crash over her like a truck. She thought she was robbing some kid with a duffel bag and a handful of medals. Didn't know she'd picked a fight with a man who could mobilize a small army with one call. At my signal, Humvees rolled in. Deputies and marshals started locking down the neighborhood, not with sirens and threats, but with checklists, colored wristbands, claim tags, and a system that moved families to safety while evidence was gathered. No speeches, no drama, just real justice. Madison tried to run, but the net was too tight. Torres got picked up at a highway checkpoint. Janet got pulled off a bus headed east. Rick found his house under surveillance. Judy, bless her heart, turned state's evidence. Her careful notes were the nail in the coffin. By sunset, the streets were quiet, save for the soldiers and federal agents collecting evidence. Families got their homes back, their deeds restored, and their dignity defended by people with the resources to make things right. Madison sat in a federal car, watching her world crumble, realizing too late that targeting soldiers and their families wasn't just wrong, it was stupid. The next time someone tries to prey on those who serve, maybe they'll remember this story. And maybe you will too. Because this isn't just about property or paperwork. It's about what happens when you pick a fight with people who know how to fight back. So, tell me, was justice served, or do you think the system should go even further? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Wherever you are, let's talk about what real justice means and who's really watching out for our families.